Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization. We're on our way to Skinwalker Ranch. As a matter of fact, we're on the outskirts of it right now, and we're gonna circle it. We're on a Bigfoot expedition, but it brought us out to the ranch at night. So we thought we would circle the ranch and see if we see anything weird that people report all the time here. What's the town that it's by that we just come through?
I know, we just turned on our way out to Fort Duchesne.
Is it Roosevelt?
Yeah, Roosevelt.
Sorry, I'm from Utah. I should automatically know that stuff. Yeah, there's a major town close by. It's at nighttime that people see most of the weird stuff, although I've saw videos of different colored orbs flying around and interacting with each other over the ranch in the day.
Really?
Yeah, I put that on one of our Facebook channels. What's it called? Paranormal Rocky Mountain. Paranormals and Cryptids of the Rocky Mountain, I believe it's called.
I haven't seen that video.
Sorry, I keep up on our Bigfoot media sites more than something like that, but I started that for things that we find that aren't Bigfoot related, that are weird. And, you know, I think if we saw anything around Skinwalker Ranch, it would probably fall into something paranormal. We have recorded a couple of softball-sized orbs flying around in front of one of our game cameras several years ago, and it was really odd and everything. And I wasn't gonna, even though I'd pick up the game camera and see it on video, I wasn't buying the fact that they were orbs. I just thought that something had to have happened to explain it naturally. I didn't want to buy it. Anyway, a lot of people's ideas that they came up with that seemed the most feasible was a strand of spider web or something in front of the lens of the camera with like a dew or a drop of sand on it, and, you know, creating the orb. Well, I tested that idea, you know, wanting to debunk and find one of the things that you'll notice at nighttime on game cameras with infrared, those spider webs just light right up. Single strand of spider web just glows. You just don't hide a piece of spider web in front of a camera, especially if you're getting a piece of dew or something for it to focus on. And this orb was flying back and forth. It's only, I think the camera was set up on like 10-second intervals, where it would film for 10 seconds and turn off unless it detected movement again. So we have a full 10 seconds of it. I'll put that video in the description of this video. So look down in the description and you'll find that link that has the orb in it. And I'll leave everything that was on the game camera, because you'll notice we catch some deer and stuff on there, and the deer's eyes are like the size of a boulder. You know, when you used to play marbles when you're a kid, the boulders, that's like a deer's eye. Well, just for size comparison, look at some of those deer eyes glowing on there, and when it gets to the part of the video where the orbs are flying around, those orbs are like the size of a softball. They're big orbs. And of course there's an explanation for them. They had to be something, but what is that explanation? That believe that video was shot like 3 years ago, or maybe 4 now, and still really haven't figured out what it is, and it's never happened again. And we still have a camera at that location. That's back when we used to trade cameras out. We'd show up with a camera that had a new SD card and fresh batteries in it, and we would pull down the old camera. Now we just service the cameras. We leave them there and switch out a new SD card and put new batteries in it. It's more efficient to service them that way. But back then when we did that, I brought that camera home, so I had the same exact camera at home that was out in the field. So I had it right there to start testing different ideas that created that orb, and I couldn't create it, nothing even close. You guys will have to watch it. But anyway, people see orbs like that here all the time, or they say all the time. There's lots of reports of them, and we'll keep our eye open for them. You guys see one on this video, let us know. But yeah, this is Skinwalker Ranch. It's on the right side of us. A lot of the people that watch these Skinwalker Ranch videos, they're enthusiasts, and they know exactly where we're at and where it's at. And it's on the right side of us. It's not a huge ranch.
It is pitch black tonight. Pitch black.
I'm also going to include another video that explains more about Skinwalker Ranch, how it came about. It's called Sower Creek Skinwalker Ranch. Bigfoot and Skinwalker collide, or whatever. I'm sure I got the title a little bit mixed up. I mean, we have like 700 videos, so it's hard to keep all the titles straight, but I will put that down in the comments of the video, because that explains the Native American legends of the Skinwalker and how Skinwalker Ranch came about. But people see a lot of paranormal activity around here, and the video that I saw near the gates of this ranch with the orbs flying around and interacting with each other, it looks real to me. I can't, you know, I'm not a video expert or whatever, special effects, so I don't know how it was done, if it was a special effect or if they're actually there. But we come here a couple times a year hoping that we can see the same thing. Some of these orbs are really big. People as far away as Duchesne from here, I mean between here and Duchesne and other places around, people claim that fireballs almost as big as their car will follow their car or hover above their car, following them around, up beside. And some people have claimed to have driven off the road trying to get away from these big orbs of fire, or some of them say that they're electricity. But near Duchesne, about 20 miles from this ranch, I saw a big fireball during a supermoon come up over the hillside and drop back down. Or not hillside, it's actually a mountain across the canyon from me. I was outside filming at night, the supermoon. I wanted to film it coming up over the mountain, and I'm standing right by my camera that's filming. I wanted to do a time lapse of it, and north of where I had the camera pointed, several miles north, that fiery orb come up over the mountain. And I mean, I had some quick reflexes. I'm like, oh my heck, I knew I had a camera on and filming, and I grabbed the stand of my camera, and so I could flip it in the direction of the orb to catch the orb. The orb had already come up over the mountain and dropped back down before I even touched the camera. I probably saw the orb for about 3 or 4 seconds, but by the time I snapped out from my camera, it had already dropped down. It was like it's like it had mass, like it shot up in the air and like coasted up, and then its own weight dropped it down below the mountain. And it only come up over the mountain several, I don't know, dozen feet or whatever before it dropped back down. But that's the weirdest thing I've saw, is that fireball out in this area. And I've saw people shoot flares and stuff before, and it wasn't a flare. I mean, this was a perfect sphere. It was like an orb of fire. But that's about 20 miles from this ranch. I mean, this ranch is supposed to be an epicenter for the Skinwalker paranormal activity, but people for dozens of miles around this have activity, and Skinwalker activity is mid-central Utah all the way down south, parts of Colorado, southern Colorado, mid-southern Colorado, and then northern parts of Arizona and New Mexico are all considered Skinwalker areas. And for some reason, this ranch that we're driving around, it's still to our right. It's supposed to be the center of the paranormal activity. Something that happened back in the Native American wars. A couple of the tribes that used to war around here, they created the curse of the Skinwalker. But our Sower Creek to Skinwalker Ranch video, we go into a lot of explanation on that. We read some of the reports and stuff from the Native Americans and show you some of the areas around here during the day. We were actually hiking about the closest you can get to here without having to be on private property. We were on public lands. We're actually hiking in an area with Bigfoot sightings. So I think I call it Bigfoot and Skinwalker worlds collide. The ranch, from what I understand, is only a 400-acre ranch. I mean, that's actually a huge ranch, but it doesn't take that long to drive around 400 acres. Jenny and I, south of here, about 15 miles south of here in Indian Canyon, we were on our way to a Bigfoot expedition, driving at night again, and we were kind of talking about, should we drive past Skinwalker Ranch, blah, 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 and we're like, this is close enough, and it was a more direct route to where we were going. And so we drove past Indian Canyon, and a big old freaking orb of fire and trail and stuff. I'm sure it was probably a meteorite, but it dropped down into Indian Canyon. I feel like it was a normal event, but I don't know. Was it one of those orbs they see around Skinwalker? Yeah, it was trailing sparks. We got that on video too. I'll include that in the description. We had this very same dash cam going. We didn't have the sound on, so when we're just driving around and we're not actually doing one of these roundtables, we turn the sound off on the camera.
It was
But after it fell, I turned the camera on and we started talking about it.
It was huge. It was like the size of a truck or a van, and it just fell straight out of the sky, and it was bright green, like grass green, emeralds or whatever, and had all this white sparkly...
What's that in the street? You guys see that eye shine?
It's a raccoon!
Yeah.
But yeah, it was big, and it fell out of the sky, straight to the ground.
Well, it went behind the mountain. It was freaking huge. The video does not do justice what we saw with our own eyes. It was huge. if that was a meteorite or asteroid or whatever you want to call it, it's the biggest one I ever saw in my life, and it was the closest I was to it. I'm guessing that the little mountain that it fell behind was 2 miles at max, maybe even closer.
To us, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was close.
Well, we could have got out of the car and walked to the base of that mountain in like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, we were driving right along the edge
wasn't really
of it.
that far, but yeah, so
we weren't the only ones that saw it either. When we got to our destination, there were people talking about it, and they had seen it too.
They saw it from further away than we were. Yeah, people that were 5, 6, 10 miles away had saw it. I mean, several people.
Yeah, they were just talking about how huge it was and bright.
And then we told them how close we were to it, and we're like, God, it was the size of a truck.
It was
a
huge.
big truck.
Yep.
Yeah, it was trailing sparks.
Just like a sparkler.
Yeah, you know, when you're waving a sparkler around when you're a kid, it was trailing those.
Oh, look at that.
What did you see? The boulders or what?
There was an animal in there. It was a
Oh.
cat. It was a cat. I thought it was another raccoon, but it was a cat. It's creepy in here.
Yeah, especially knowing the history of where you're at. And of course, we're talking about the orbs and stuff. Then there's supposedly the skinwalkers that can take on human form and an animal form. And, you know, I say, you know, kind of like a werewolf, but people will argue that because skinwalkers supposedly can become almost any kind of animal. But the most common that they supposedly change into are canines. You know, dogs, coyotes, or wolves.
I've never seen anything like that in my entire life, but I personally know 2 people who say that they have seen them.
Same here.
So I don't...
I even had one person in our car during a driving roundtable say that they saw a wolf that they actually thought was a skinwalker because of how weird it was.
Yeah, that's true.
And Brian, yeah, we'll put that in the description too, that video. So that's 3 videos you can look for down in the description. Brian tells about his skinwalk, and he was 20, I don't know, how far is Vernal from here? Probably no more than 20 miles on the east side. So see, it's not just Skinwalker Ranch, it's lots of places around here has this weird activity. So yeah, you can hear it from Brian's mouth. I'll throw that down there. We were on a driving roundtable with him. We took him out hiking at night with us to exchange, to do a game camera exchange in a Bigfoot sighting spot. And we got stalked by a mountain lion that night.
Yeah, we did.
I'll include that video too. Well, no, the reason why I like to include them is because people hear you talk about this stuff and they're like, oh, BS. He's making it up. And it's like, no, we got the videos of this stuff. We'll throw that down in the description. Yeah, there was 5 of us. It's usually just me and Jenny out there hiking at night. And we happen to have 3 other grown men with us, luckily, because we got stalked by a mountain lion that night. Our buddies that are all these big, huge guys that are big game hunters and stuff, they were squealing like little girls. It was scary.
I wouldn't say they were squealing like little girls.
If they're watching this video, they were squealing like little girls. And if they don't watch the video to the rest of you guys, they were just kind of squealing. No, they were squealing.
Okay.
Brian didn't squeal, but Jared and Drew, they were squealing. Brian was just concerned. I was concerned too.
I was very concerned.
Yeah, the mountain lion probably followed us and paralleled us for over a quarter of a mile that we know of, and 3 times we spotlighted it over that quarter mile, and it kept getting closer to us. I mean, it probably started 150 yards out. The next time it was within 100 yards, and then the last time it was like within 50 feet. You could probably have thrown a rock at it and hit it. That's when Brian actually wanted to head back, and I'm like, my camera's just right here, come on. But we had like 3 spotlights, and then everybody had headlamps. I mean, we had all that directed on that mountain lion. Of course, we're making noise at it, and, you know, grown big guys. I mean, I'm not a little guy either. I may not be the tallest, but I'm pretty stout. And that mountain lion wasn't afraid of us.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't afraid at all. And it kept coming closer and closer, and it didn't care.
Yeah, I don't think I'm hiking up in that canyon by myself anymore.
No.
I've done 2 hikes back there by myself, and after that incident, I'm like, nah, not with that mountain lion that likes to live in that canyon. Or
yeah, that mountain lion is big, and it isn't afraid of people at all.
It wasn't that night.
No.
Yeah, I'm sorry the video doesn't do justice what was happening that night, but you guys will be able to see some of the eye shine and our reactions. And
well, I'm glad I don't have to get out of the car here, because I wouldn't want to.
Well, we captured that mountain lion on game camera. You'll get to see it on the game camera at the end of that video too. So you'll get to see up close what was stalking us that night. Gosh, I hope I haven't missed any orbs or anything.
Well, nothing was really apparent.
I keep hearing that they're supposed to open up the gate. It's supposed to let people be able to drive the road that bisects the ranch, and then it never ever opens up. That road's supposedly owned by the county, and I keep going to court and telling the owners that they have to remove the gates, and they give them deadlines, and the deadlines come and go, and the gates never come down. So whoever owns that ranch, if you watch this video, I could care less either way. You know, it's your property, whatever. You know, I'm happy just driving the circumference and talking about what everybody's so intrigued about. I really don't want to infringe on people's privacy, so if you have a right to keep that gate up, then more power to you. Obviously you have some kind of a right, or it wouldn't be there. Yeah, there's that ranch, and then the ranch is surrounded by Indian reservation, so it's really hard to find places that you can hike on and around Skinwalker Ranch.
Well, that's it. We circled it.
All right, we're heading to our Bigfoot location. We're gonna go check out Dry Fork, Red Cloud, and a couple of other Bigfoot sightings around the Vernal area. What's the other place? Oh, Flaming Gorge. There's been several Bigfoot sightings there. And the nice thing about this area is most of the Bigfoot sightings in the Flaming Gorge, Red Cloud Loop, and Dry Fork Canyon are wintertime sightings. So it's a great time for us to come out and do our thing.
That's why we're here.
Well, a lot of these places are on the outskirts of Vernal. I hope you guys enjoyed a drive around Skinwalker Ranch at night. Keep on watching. We're going to keep on squatching.